parenting autism, because I'm a parent and I have an autistic child, is quite a challenge. But the stuff that I have learned on this journey is huge, and it benefits my neurotypical children, as I've already shared. Parenting my son, I thought I was going to be that parent that was really tough and was not going to cut the crust off of the bread. And I'm now that parent today. And I would have never thought I would be like that. But I have I have a child that's inflexible, and I'm constantly trying to, help him become more flexible. And that's just one of the traits. One of the tools that I've learned is redirecting. So say it's nighttime, it's time to get that, get the tablet away. I front load, like I say, we got time, we got 10 minutes, we got 5 minutes, we got 1 minute, and then we're done. And it doesn't have to be exact because he doesn't know time. I just sort of set that up, lay that out, and then he is it's just a bit more manageable when he knows something is going to end. Like when I just cut things off, it's too abrupt. It's too much change all at once really quickly. And I usually get a lot more misbehaving or emotions if I do it that way. When I give warnings and countdowns to just it's going to be time to end this, then he can handle that a bit better. And then when it comes to that thing and I get, say, a freak out because it's time to put the tablet down before bedtime, he gets he hangs on to it even more and tighter. He wants to bring it to bed. He wants to hold it. He says he's not going to go on it. He's a really good negotiator. Every time I say no or anything, it's always a negotiation with him. It's like he doesn't understand no. And I try not to be too harsh with my no, because it's almost like I have to do it all the time. But I just try to say no and to be quiet after. I try not to do too much explaining after, to just sort of let that silence, not ignore him, but just let that silence fill the space a little bit, that I'm sincere here and I mean what I'm saying. So my son, it's bedtime, it's time to put it down. He wants to hold it, keep in the room. And then to redirect this, I say, instead of saying, no, you can't keep it in the room. No, you can't keep it in your bed. That's going to add some anxiety because he can't have something more. He doesn't want to go off of it. And then he starts creating that more things that he wants in that routine. Like now it's time to get off. But then I want to hold it. And then he adds another thing. Oh, I want to just keep it in the room. So he adds another thing. So I'm trying to break that back down. So then I say, I know, but you know what? Tonight we're going to have to park it somewhere else. We're going to have to park it downstairs. And then, he gets upset. And then I say, come on, you can do it. Go do it now. And so he goes into it, does it. And then I've just taken that, and instead of focusing on what he can't, I just focus on where he can, or I got to butter it up a little bit. Can you park it in a really safe spot? And then if he's not okay with the spot, sometimes because my son loves me, I will say why don't you go park it right by mommy's computer? When I make it a little bit more exciting, he handles that way better. Okay, tonight it's by a special spot. So that works. So that's one thing I do with redirecting my son. And this is all stuff that I've learned from professionals. This isn't my own mind making it up. I really try to if I can redirect and then keep it positive and then stay chill in the process, then that is a win. And, it's I can't bring chaos, I got to bring my calm to the chaos. And that's a quote. It's not my quote. But, I'm trying to bring my calm, I'm trying to show the calm, be the calm, because if we can just keep the energy levels lower, it's easier to keep it lower than have it all go all the way up and then have to come down. So the other day, we're getting home from school. My son is I front load him and say like, hey, we're about to be home. And then when we get home, we're going to have to go in the house. So my son gets upset, starts having a meltdown because we're getting home. This is my child that like you could be giving him ice cream and he'd cry about it. Like he cries over ice cream, like he's very specific, and so we're home. This is a good thing, but he's upset. He's overwhelmed. I don't think it's about being home. I think it's just like the whole day has come down. He's been holding it together all day. He's been working his brain really hard. And so he's starting to cry and I'm just like, oh man, like here we go. Like like it's exhausting. So, but whatever. I'm there. I'm with him. I'm with my kid. And so I say, he starts going like, everyone else goes in the house. And then he goes, you want me to open my door and then take my legs and put them on the ground and then walk over to the front door, to the stairs and go in the house? And then he's crying and yelling at me while this is happening. And I'm like, interesting, like that's how his brain works. Like, I said, we're home, let's go in. That's like a few things. Well, he like multiplied that into like a whole bunch of things. Like what he's saying to me is that, I'm so spent and overwhelmed from my day, I can't even handle one more thing. He can't handle one more thing. Like that's my takeaway from that. And so I let him just like continue having his tears and stuff. I don't go like be quiet, stop. I don't yell at him. Like actually I'm just like silent and let him have his minute. And so anyways, everyone's in the house. And then I say, okay, can you open your door? And so my son is just like dramatically reaches for the door handle and dramatically, tries to pull the door handle down, like as if it was 100 pounds, and I have to be very patient in these situations, which is really hard to do sometimes because it's just like, hey, like just open the door and get in the house. But no, this is not what's happening. So what's happening is I have to be very patient and cool this takes a while. He opens his door. And then, he drops his arm down like I just asked him to do something really ridiculous and hard. And then he starts, I say, okay, good job. I try not to say too much because then he'll yell and be like, stop it. Because he's done. And so then he puts his legs out of the car, drags them, hangs them over the car edge. He puts his feet on the ground. And now I feel like it's safe enough for me to like, what? I think I could probably get out of the car here. It's like we got the door open. We got the feet on the ground. So I go around and I stand there and I wait. I wait by him, not in a pushy, aggressive way or anything. I'm like totally going at his speed and I wait. And then he kind of like shrugs his shoulders and like, pushes the door with his shoulder, like he's mad at the door. And then he starts walking walking to the house. And that's good. Like, this is good. Like he's getting into the house. Like, that's what I see. And, the crying is going away. So it's like, here we are. We're making this happen. So it's that just shows me like, just like, there's a lot. He's seeing a lot of steps, it's not just a few steps and he's overwhelmed, and dysregulation too, like meltdowns like that, like oftentimes, like I really got to cover my bases just with like food and snacks and like quiet time or separate kid time where everyone's just like split up and chilling out. But, yeah, that's just a bit on my son's autistic brain. He is so particular. Like I have these candies in the house. They're chocolate and there's the white, blue, brown, and red. My son's favorite color is red. But, when he started having the red candies in that chocolate box, we're all out of the red candies now. Like my son won't even have one of the other chocolates, even though there's chocolate inside. It doesn't have a red wrapper. Like that's how particular he is. When it comes to the lunches that I have to make him, it's so particular that if he doesn't like something that day, like he doesn't eat it. Like it stays in there and, you know, and then the school ends up feeding him or something else. But like it's so extreme that, you know, inflexibility on some stuff that it's just like, some stuff is just like an unbreakable no. Like he just will not eat it. Like he won't, yeah, it's so like I've had lots of food come home that just didn't even get touched and just will not get touched, but I have to like be creative and I have to find those things that will work. So yeah, that's just another thing on my son's stuff. You know, when we're in the car, and the kids say they're being really loud and it's getting crazy, what I try to do is model. Like I model a lot, and I never used to do that. I used to like kind of over explain a lot and like talk to them about how they should behave, and I stopped doing that. And I find modeling, because I was spending my energy anyway, but like I only have so much energy to spend in a day. I just found like modeling worked way better. You know, as they're looking at me and they're copying me, and they're copying the good and the bad. So we're in the car, it's getting really loud, you know, and it's like inside voices. But sometimes I just have to be like, I find this really works too. It's like quieter, guys. And I lower my voice, you know, and then I don't respond to their questions and what they're doing unless they use that same quiet voice. And I just keep doing that until the volume in the car gets lower, you know, and I find that they really pick up on that. Another thing, the way that I parent is, so I live in a house where I don't believe in grabbing, and because like, if I grab from my kids, I'm saying it's okay to grab and then they grab. Like it's that easy. Like I can't even swear one time and then they hang on to that swear forever. So what we do in our house is we try to be gentle. We say please. You know, I don't say like, anyways, we what I do is I say like, I take the item that they have, and I say, please. And I do it very gently. Like I don't grab it. I almost like put my hand on the item that I need. And then I hold it till I feel that energy and then kind of let it go. And I might do like a few nudges to kind of let them know that I'm still here. But then they let go. So I've taught this with my older boys, and my older boys are actually teaching this with my younger boys. You know, like they are now teaching the thing that I taught them. And there is no grabbing. There's just please, and then they will go for the item, put their hand on the item, and it's almost like they're like waiting for that release from the other person, and then they take it. You know, like this is just like every time I take like you know, a bowl that needs to go in the sink, to you know, some kind of thing that they're not supposed to have, like, you know, or time to take the tablets away. Like I don't rip anything away. I just like put my hand on that and I say please really gently, and I'm so consistent with that, and that's how they learn from me, and I find that really works. So another thing that I do for, you know, just modeling things instead of like saying like we don't grab, I've really taken the word don't out of stuff, because I find it's just too overwhelming. Like it's too overwhelming for them to not be able to do anything. Like I just try to give them the thing that I want them to do. Like every time they need something, I just like hand that tool out. I hand that phrase out. I hand out the polite way to say something. I hand out the tone, the volume, the action. And I do that just constantly all the time. Like I'm just like this kind of like a calm, gentle robot mom that's just like feeding information to my children constantly. So when, they are copying me and they're watching what I do. And, I try to just take out like all the things, and I really try to just shrink everything into small little pieces and send it out. Like take things, take even like big sentences and like take out half of the sentence and just try to say things with like, 2-3 words or whatever, like just gentle direction, not like forceful commands, and there are times when that has to happen, for safety concerns, but most of the time it's just like gentle instructions, like because I'm trying to, I have to teach them how to be, gentle and respectful. So I have to teach them with the way I do it. So that's how I do it. The other thing is I don't, I've researched this stuff and I've learned to do it. So it's not all my stuff. But when I get home and it's like, say, snack time or whatever, or it's dinner time, it's like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? I don't say things like, what do you want? Like, what do you want to do tonight? What do you want to do later? What do you want to do on the weekend? Like, they don't know. They don't care. They just need, if I want an answer from them, I make it really simple and basic. Like, I give them 2 choices. I think of the choices. So that calls for me to be more creative. I think of the 2 choices. I say, hey, do you want toast or cereal? Toast or cereal. And like, I just repeat that until they pick one. And if they're really, really upset with those, like, yes, I can give them another, I can switch something out for something, but I mostly am like, hey, like, would you like to do TV time or outside time now? Like, what are the 2 things? Like, if they're getting upset with like going outside or getting ready for school, it's like, hey, do you want to do your jacket first or your shoes first? Like, if there's something the behavior is getting raised, I just think it means I need to like lower the bar for them to grab. Like, I need to make it easier for them, just to get them through to the next thing, and then add that thing they can't do and add it back in. But like, just to get that, push that ball, to get that ball moving, it's just like, okay, like, you don't want to go get ready? Okay, can you just go get your socks on? Like, just go get your socks on. My autistic son, I have to remind them that a lot. And if that action isn't being taken, then I know my son needs a bit more help. So I'll be like, "Kate, you want to go get your socks on together upstairs?" And then we go upstairs and get his socks on upstairs. I just find something I need to do and go upstairs and go do it because he needs to help getting his socks on. So that's something I do with just like with choices and stuff. And I think just like helping, another little thing that helps is and we're out, my children like to see everything with their hands. And they like to feel everything. And so this used to drive me nuts, especially if I had to go into a public washroom. I was just like, oh, so gross. So I'm like, what I say to my kids is, hands together. Like, whenever we're in a place that's just like a little bit like yucky, I'm just like, hands together all the time. Then they have a place to put their hands and they're not touching everything. And they're like, they could put their energy somewhere. Like, they can just like, press, push, like whatever. And I've done that with them like since they were really little, like hands together, hands together. I just say that one thing over and over and over whenever we're in those kind of places, and they've picked up on it. Another thing was, if I'm in a parking lot, I don't like it when my kids are like around the car and we're in a parking lot and I'm trying to keep them all together. So I taught them hands or pants, as in, for my sake, to get in the store, because I'm still doing other stuff, if I feel them, I don't need to see them. So when I say hands or pants, I mean, do you want to hold my hand or do you want to grab my pocket and hold onto my pocket? When I know that they can feel me, then we start moving. And the second they get out of the car, that's when I would say that direction. So, that's just like giving him those tools, like wherever we go, like they're kind of like, they have a job, they have something to do. But I'm not yelling at them for it. It's just like, it's just to keep me sane, to keep them learning, to keep them, to keep us all operating together in a healthy way. So, I keep things like positive, and if something has to be, removed that they don't like, instead of focusing on the loss, I really try to focus on like, could we look over here at this thing? Like I acknowledge that this is over, but I don't say like, yeah, you're right, it's over, nothing else for tonight. Like I just go like, yeah, okay, it's over for now. Like, yes, like just like, it's not forever, like it's just like for now, it's just for one sleep, and then you're going to see it in the morning. So, all these little things that I have learned to teach them, they're rolling out beautifully, and they do work, but it's taken me being really repetitive. Like I've had to do it. I don't think this would work if I just did it once in a while. This stuff works because it's just like, that's the way I talk now. That's the way I direct now. That's the way I point, I look, I stay calm, I keep calm. Like I'm being gentle. I'm because my one son is autistic, like he doesn't have the best social skills. He doesn't talk very nicely. He talks kind of rudely. So I'm also teaching him those tones that I want him to copy and how it's supposed to sound. I even make him say it like how it should come out if you want to be taken, like, to be polite. So like whatever it takes to get him, like I know what the goal is. So it's like whatever it takes to get to that. But sometimes I need to like, there's 10 steps. I need to just do one at a time, because sometimes even just asking one thing feels like 10 steps to him. So yeah, it's like quite an interesting household, and just like working with what works, listening, and just being okay with that inflexibility, and that those behaviors and meltdowns are not, it's not because he's being bad or he doesn't want to. It's because like there's just too much. And then, my job is just like break it down a little bit more and then like stay calm in the moment, and then just like give him the thing that he needs. Like say the nice way to ask for help, like, Mommy, can you please help me in the bathroom? Instead of I'm done, or like, Mom, milk, I say like, Mommy, can I please have the milk? And then I just keep saying that until he repeats it back to me. And that works. And it doesn't always come out. It doesn't always come out perfect. It's, Mommy, can I, but he does say the thing, and he does put a little effort into like the tone. So I know that one day these are going to come out louder. Like he will say it the way it's supposed to be said. But yeah, parenting autism has shown me a lot, just so like how the brain works, and has helped me with all my other children and how I parent them. And yeah, this is, it's pushing him through, holding his hand and pushing him through hard things, and like staying with him while I do those things, like, it's like transitions are so difficult, and it just becomes a lot, right? Like even going home from the grandparents' house, it's like, that's a good thing. But to him, that's like, that's 10 steps to get to the car, just to get to the car to go home. And so he doesn't want to do it. So it's really difficult. And just to like endure through those moments often creates a lot of strength. So yeah, those are my things. One thing too is like, I don't know why I always say this. I think I do this for like some kind of like, for what if one day in some kind of survival situation. But when the kids get scattered out, say we're home and they're all out, like, or we're at the park and people are getting too far away, instead of saying, don't go over there, I always say, stay together, we stay together. Whenever the kids get a little bit too far away, I focus on what I want them to do. And I say, we stay together, stay together. So when they get too far, it's like, no, stay together, stay together. So that's another thing that I do, like, just like really teaching them the thing I want them to do. Like, we're home and all this stuff goes everywhere. It's like, we put the shoes by the door, we put the shoes by the door, or, say the toilet seat's like left up, it's like, we put the toilet seat down. I don't go in there and be like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't leave the seat up. Like, I say, we put the seat down. I say, I put the shoes, I put my shoes by the door, and then they go put their shoes by the door. Like, I give them the thing that they need, the thing that they have to say, all the things, and just hand that information out right there. Like direct them, redirect them, show them how to do it, and not go into this whole song and dance about, I just focus on the action, I guess, and the correct words and how to say them. So, and I've gotten so many good results from doing things like this. And I've learned it from the teachers and the creators that have taught us everything about autism and how to handle my child that is on the spectrum. So, yeah. Thanks, guys. See you later.